Gammarama, good times. Yes, hello everybody. We're going to be talking about the side quest as well as the side store that is coming to the game next month. But also what I thought I'd do is I'd compare the rewards from Mutant Treasure Island versus the solo event, the store, and as well some of the other stuff that's coming to the game next month, and trying to figure out which one's better. Are we seeing reductions on what is to be like the meta of all events that the player base love? Now, the info that I'm going to be reading off, this is live on the forums. If I remember, I will put something in the description so you can go and click it if you don't want to listen to this video or watch this video, but it will be good to find out where we are in comparison with the rewards from previous events. So let's just get into it. Gammarama, good times is the name of the event. I mean, that's a cleverish name. I mean, you know, Yo-ho-ho, A Summoner's Life for me. Mutant Treasure Island seemed to be a pretty good one, but it doesn't matter because we have got this one here. You log in every day to claim one of the Gamma Gauntlets. These gauntlets will give you an access to shadow-based raids. You have 30 minutes to complete the raid, and those particular fights will be a time frame 30 minutes, fight 9 plus a boss. I don't know if that's a bit too many, especially for something that is a daily basis. But here's the thing, if you want that sweet, sweet stuff, then hey, you're going to have to do the grind in order to get the gamma radiation, because you collect gamma radiation upon winning each fight. Note that each raid costs 1 gamma gauntlet. They've done something like this before the further you go in. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head which one it is. If you remember what event it is, put it in the comment section down below. I just can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was always the case, the further you go, the more you get. But it looks to be, I don't know if it's per fight that you get X or Y. We'll have to have a look at those kind of breakdowns of gamma radiation in a moment. But it looks like in total, if you do all of the shadow-based raids, you will get 850,000 gamma radiation in Legendary, 350k in Epic, and Master 110k, and Hard 20k. So I will do a breakdown in a moment of where you can, the whole total if you are, say, a Cavalier player, how much you can take home. Arenas, you get 152,000. Special 7-day, you get 112,000. Solo objective, 130,000. And the event quest, this is good, because before there was the Infinity Dust store, so this feels for me very reminiscent of the Infinity Dust store, where you can get a huge amount on offer. More so with Cavalier, but with the shadow-based raids, it's a hell of a lot more, so you might have to apply yourself, which isn't exactly what I want to see in November, something overly grindy, but at the same time, maybe I should suck it up and get enjoying the grind for November. It gets you active, it gets you kind of like involved each day in game. It'd just be very much dependent on you grinding out in November. So pluses and minuses, and we have to compare off in a minute the reward side of things. I thought what I do for the video, just to explain to those that are able to do all of the difficulties, you will be getting 1,780,000 gamma radiation, so the currency to buy things in the store. Which is good against understanding the Gamma Galore spend event, which would require you to literally be participating in every single thing. You know, taking away about 280,000, so maybe they're skimming some lower difficulty stuff. But if you want to spend on a lot of the things, it's going to be important. But at the same time, there's nothing that's in this information here about the pricing. Like it says here what the items are per set of some of the stuff that's being delivered, how many times you can purchase it, and the total rewards in general. We're going to go over a comparison in a minute to current meta against the old meta when it comes to Mutant Treasure Island. But that hopefully gives you an idea of this breakdown of how much gamma radiation you can get next month. But one thing, as I normally do when I do a lot of these side quest guides and information videos, I will break down different types of players and titleage and where players are to what they're going to get back realistically if they're unable to do Legendary, as I've done before in previous videos. So if you are a fan of those videos, then I will put one out next week when the event goes live, and we can have a little bit of a deep dive of how it's going, how do we feel about it, and then, you know, the content will come out straight after. Also, what is good about this is Kabam have put more effort into explaining the side quest, which is one of the big things. How many gamma gauntlets do we receive per day? 1. Can I accumulate gamma gauntlets instead of using them one each day? Yes, if you choose not to participate in the raid of the day, you may save up the gauntlets to participate in the raid theme of your choice. Remember, it costs 1 gauntlet per 30 minutes, so you can go into different ones as you see fit. If there's one that you've done very much kind of fluidly without any kind of loss of anything like units or revives or champions, then at least you can place your strengths and do something that kind of works well. And maybe there's a case it rotates around. You can say, okay, go for the Tuesday one or go for this one because it seems to be an easy one to go down, if that indeed is what it's like. But as I said, we've got to see the quest, and we only learn through doing, so that's something as well. How many raid themes are there? 7. So there's 7 different themes, similar to the what was it called? Heralds of Galactus one. So there's a different one for each thing. What happens to the raid path after 30 minutes? It closes and resets on both occasions, so that's kind of annoying. But look, just get in there. How do I earn gamma radiation from the raids? Do I have to finish the path in order to get the raids? You earn gamma radiation by completing fights along the raid path. No, you will keep the gamma radiation from each completed fight along the path. If you only manage to defeat 5 champions along the raid path in the allotted 30 minutes, then you will walk away with gamma radiation from the 5 fights only. If you defeat the boss on the raid path, then you would have collected the maximum amount of gamma radiation from that raid path. I'm kind of bummed about 10 fights, unless they are a little bit more, better on time grind, because that's the thing. I know some players will kind of go out of difficulty, but as I've said in the past, side quests are meant to be completed as quickly as possible because there's other content in game for players to grind out, like the Cavalier difficulty, like the uncollected difficulty, and like whatever difficulty you're applicably going to, and if you are doing some other kind of end game content. So that's important. Can I do the same raid path again? Yes, whether or not you manage to complete the raid path. So that's that clarification there. You can repeat stuff. If something works well, one day is the best day for you, then that's good. That allows you to kind of get that kind of understanding. Like, look, the champions that I've got are able to slay on this day. Oh, that's a good rhyme. And therefore you can play to the strengths. Right, so let's talk about the store and where the store actually comes into interest for players. Now, as I said, there's no breakdown of currency and spend, but at the same time, you can get an idea of what's in there. There's some nice stuff that can be had. We've got some here from like lower player stuff, but we need to go down to the bottom because that's what players are really interested in. The kind of the uncollected Cavalier type stuff, and where you're going with things like what you need, what you require, what you desire, and as well what you will be buying, because that's going to be crucial for me, and I know for a good chunk of players it's always going to be 6-star shards, 5-star shards, tier 2 alphas, and as well things like signature stones and maybe awakening gems and other stuff like tier 5 class catalysts, tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystals, maybe a few others as well. There's nothing of a huge difference and improvement from Mutant Treasure Island. More so with the shard side of things, but let's compare them off. Now on screen, I've done a spreadsheet. I've taken the information from what is going to be live on the forums in a moment, and as well compare it off with Mutant Treasure Island. In red is Mutant Treasure Island, except for this here. This is just like, again, explaining that the gamma total is 1.78 mil. So that's, to kind of give you a perspective of how much you can grab. There is some interesting stuff, and what I've done is I've combined the spend event, because as you spend, you get some stuff back. But these are the crowning jewels, the rarest stuff to pick up from the event, and I just thought it's best to compare them off. So from the Mutant Treasure Island, you get 6-star shards of 6,500, 2 5-star awakening gems, tier 2 fragments of that, and all this stuff here. What do you get from the event that's going to go live next week? Well, in the Fix-It store, you get 3,000 6-star shards. From the Spend event, you get 2,250 shards. So it means that we are at a deficit there of the 6-star shards. Not by a huge amount, but it's, it's weird to compare off like the metas of previous ones. I don't think we're ever going to see an event come into the game that is like Mutant Treasure Island. It was so nice to see something like that. But the comparisons are there that it's only the 5-star shards that's up from there. The rest is kind of like either the same or down. Same 5-star featured. There's a 5-star featured on offer from the Spend event, but there, there's nothing else more than that of a rarity. There's a legendary crystal, but I didn't think that it was applicable to put it in here. Same thing with a 5 and a 5 with the 2% tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystal. 5-star shards, yes, is up to 26,000 compared with 22,500, and the tier 2 fragments, it's down. Like there's 3 that you could fully form with Mutant Treasure Island, and then you can only do 2 and I want to say like 70 odd percent. But yeah, I mean, it's not 3. There's 2 there, there's 3 there. 5-star awakening gems, 1 to 2. in favor of Mutant Treasure Island. So yeah, there's kind of a little bit less than before, and there's no other things as well. Only other things being like, you know, just other stuff that maybe players would want. Signature stones, I haven't seen a huge amount of influx. You can get from the store, I think it's 60 plus the ones, 60 in Cavalier, and then there's a future amount. Let's just double check that. So you can get 6 times a pack of 10. So that's, yeah, 60 plus the 20 there. So it's 80 signature stones. It's not generics, but that's going to be down to a player perspective. What do you covet the most? The signature stones or the crystals? I would like to have a month where there's you can specify, so signature generics, but you know, there's nothing else, especially from here. It just seems as it's not ridiculously less, but it's a little bit less than, you know, the main meta event. I decided not to compare it off against last month's. I know that it's just with the month that we're running at the moment, it's a bit kind of like blasé, but it definitely looks like it's an improvement. It seems like, you know, it's fun. I think for me, I just prefer the choice and store-based scenario, which again is similar to the Mutant Treasure Island. If you are doing a lot of endgame content or content in general, then you want something that's got a bit of better pace to it. And at the moment, because we've got this kind of like, you grind to get soul boosts, and souls, you then grind in the different types of random difficulties, which, let's face it, has been a bit difficult for those that have ran mastery setups. So yeah, that's been quite restrictive to players. So it's nice to see something return to something like this. There's also something quite major. So if you play Marvel Realm of Champions, you'll be familiar with root and rooting a champion in place. And this was something that Kabam alluded to. The new mechanic called root is going to be added to this particular game mode. So when rooted a champion's movement is locked, you can still perform any action, but you won't move from your location. When doing so, for example, you can still dodge special attacks with dexterity, parry, and use of your own special attacks, unless a global buff says otherwise. You just won't do any lateral movement associated with those actions. We hope to explore this new effect on further global buffs or even characters buffs for players to use, so make sure to use them. I think that there's going to be a champion that might have that in the future, more on that at a later date. But yeah, it's interesting to see this come in play. And do bear in mind, guys, if you don't like what Kabam are going to put in with this and it doesn't work for you, you find it bad, give them the feedback. There will be a separate forum post. It's important to give them feedback. They want to come up with new ideas to excite the player base, excite you. But if they get that wrong, we have to let them know they've got it wrong, and they will then, you know, look to change it if it is not well received. But yeah, that looks like it's going to be next month. And as well, just make sure you've kept a little bit of eye on the stats in order to give yourself that perspective of what you want to go for. As I said, I'll do more information guides and stuff when it comes to side events, as I normally do. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do bear in mind, if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more, because I do cover these side events, I do grind guides, and I cover news and information in the community. Thank you very much for the support, and make sure to turn out for some of the live streams that I'm going to be doing very, very soon, where I do a lot of Act 6, the current and the next event quest. So yeah, make sure to be around for them. I'll do uncollected and Cavalier difficulty over on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live. Appreciate it for support. See you later. Bye bye.